Napoleon Bonaparte was one of the most brilliant and controversial figures in history. Born on the small Mediterranean island of Corsica on August 15, 1769, he rose from modest beginnings to crown himself Emperor of the French and dominate Europe for nearly 2 decades. His story is one of genius, ambition, triumph, and ultimate downfall. As a boy, Napoleon was sent to military school in France. He was an outsider, Corsican by birth, short in stature, and often teased by classmates. But he excelled in mathematics, strategy, and history, subjects that would serve him for the rest of his life. By the age of 16, he became an officer in the French army. His moment came during the French Revolution. As France descended into chaos, Napoleon seized opportunities to prove himself. In 1793, he led an attack that recaptured the city of Toulon from royalist rebels and their British allies. His brilliant tactics earned him rapid promotion. Just 2 years later, he saved the revolutionary government in Paris by crushing a royalist uprising with swift artillery fire. At only 26 years old, he was given command of the French army in Italy. The Italian campaign turned Napoleon into a legend. Facing larger, better supplied Austrian forces, he relied on speed, deception, and boldness. In a series of lightning victories, he defeated Austria and reshaped the map of Italy. His soldiers adored him, not only because he led from the front, but because he inspired them with speeches that promised both glory and equality. In 1798, Napoleon launched an expedition to Egypt, hoping to strike at Britain's trade routes to India. Though the campaign ultimately faltered, it added to his reputation as a bold, visionary leader. He returned to France in 1799, where political instability gave him another opening. In a daring coup, Napoleon seized power, establishing himself as first consul at just 30 years old. Over the next few years, he rebuilt France. He reformed the legal system with the Napoleonic Code, established efficient administration, modernized education, and restored order after the turbulence of the Revolution. In 1804, with the Pope present, Napoleon crowned himself emperor, a symbolic gesture showing that he owed his power to no one. As emperor, he transformed warfare. Napoleon's armies moved faster and struck harder than any Europe had seen before. His victories at Austerlitz in 1805, Jena in 1806, and Wagram in 1809 cemented his reputation as perhaps the greatest general of his age. He created a vast empire that stretched across most of Europe, placing his relatives on thrones from Spain to Holland. But Napoleon's ambition was boundless, and it sowed the seeds of his downfall. His decision to invade Russia in 1812 was catastrophic. He marched into the vast country with more than 600,000 men. The Russian winter, combined with scorched earth tactics, devastated his army. Only a fraction returned. After Russia, his enemies closed in. A coalition of Britain, Austria, Prussia, and Russia pushed into France. In 1814, Napoleon was forced to abdicate. He was exiled to the island of Elba, off the Italian coast. Yet his story was not finished. In 1815, he escaped Elba and returned to France. In a dramatic moment, he confronted royalist troops sent to stop him. Instead of arresting him, they rallied to his side. Within weeks, Napoleon was back in Paris, emperor once again. This period became known as the 100 Days. But Europe united against him. At the Battle of Waterloo in June 1815, Napoleon faced the Duke of Wellington and the Prussian army under Blücher. It was a fierce battle, but Napoleon was finally defeated. His empire was gone for good. This time, his captors sent him far away to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic. There, under British guard, Napoleon spent his final years dictating his memoirs and reflecting on his life. He died in 1821 at the age of 51. Napoleon's legacy remains enormous. He was a military genius who rewrote the art of war, a reformer whose laws still influence legal systems today, and a ruler whose ambition reshaped Europe. Yet he was also a man whose relentless pursuit of power led to immense suffering and destruction. To some, Napoleon was a tyrant. To others, he was a visionary who spread the ideals of merit, law, and nationalism. Above all, he was a man who changed history on a scale few others ever have. From a young Corsican outsider to Emperor of France, Napoleon Bonaparte's life was proof of how far brilliance, ambition, and determination can carry a single individual, and a reminder of how even the greatest power can fall.